Now recognizes the Vice Chair of the full committee, the gentleman from Pennsylvania, for 5 minutes for questions.
Thank you, Chairman Latta. The title of this hearing, Powering America's Future, Unleashing American Energy, could not be more appropriate for the first hearing of the Energy Subcommittee. We are now living in the new golden age of America, where American energy production can finally reach the possibilities that we have so often discussed in this committee. With this growth in production and by unlocking the energy sources that are under the feet of my constituents, we can provide affordable energy to Americans and cut the unbearable inflation that American families continue to endure. We can continue to have a large and robust chemical industry so that we have products that we need in the 21st century. We can expand well-paying, highly skilled jobs in the energy sector so that Americans have great economic opportunity. We can ensure that our country has the power to prevail in the emerging competition in artificial intelligence. And finally, we can become not just energy independent, but energy dominant on the global stage by providing reliable and cleaner energy to our allies and stifle America's enemies under President Trump's strong leadership. When we talk about unleashing American energy, we have to take an overview. This includes, yes, drill, baby, drill, and it also includes build, baby, build. We have to have the infrastructure to transport and to refine the energy that is produced right here in America and get that energy to market. Ms. Eversole, my constituents are facing an effort to limit their choice of vehicles. California has tried to abuse its waiver process in the Clean Air Act to institute a ban on internal combustion engines so that 40% of Americans will ultimately be affected by their choice in the automobile market. Why is it that the California ACC2 waiver issue is a problem for all of America?
This is a huge problem. Not only does what California chooses and how it impacts consumers in California, but there's also more than a dozen states that follow the lead of California. And this is bad for American consumers. I'm not sure why the state of California gets to be the de facto regulatory body for so many states in this country. Those citizens didn't get to vote for the elected individuals in the state of California. And what we saw in the last election was a full and complete rejection of these heavy-handed mandates. The American consumer should be able to choose. We support free markets in this country, and this should not be an exception to that rule.
So how significant is it, Ms. Eversole, that action by the EPA constitutes a rule? In the Biden administration's EPA and the GAO, they have attempted to declare that the EPA's granting of a waiver to be a dictatorial order to prevent the use of the Congressional Review Act. In this specific situation, do you agree that the Biden administration should have submitted to the action to Congress, and that it is here in Congress, and in Congress alone, that the power to decide whether the EPA action is a rule should be subject to resolution or of disapproval?
Absolutely. This is certainly the jurisdiction of the Congress, and the courts are currently disputing the efficacy of the rule under the prior administration. We do appreciate, however, President Trump's executive order on day one to roll back those so-called EV mandates.
And I agree. I look forward to working with our new EPA Administrator, Lee Zeldin, to overturn this waiver. Mr. McCowen, if the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania were a country, we would have one of the largest proven natural gas reserves in the entire world. Yet, we run into issues getting this energy to market. The lack of pipeline construction in the Northeast and the lack of significant LNG export facilities restrict natural gas production. How would building the proper infrastructure unleash the power of Pennsylvania, unleash the energy sources that are under the feet of my constituents?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, energy is that critical component to our country, to the economy, next to raw materials and the cost of labor. It is the winner or loser when it comes to creating an economy, to creating industry. We need Pennsylvania's gas. We need it throughout the country, and it needs to be made available for export. That requires additional infrastructure. It requires pipelines. And as I mentioned earlier, we have some states that want to thwart, prohibit, stop, halt the lawful interstate transportation of commodities, in this case, natural gas, and that needs to be stopped.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Chairman. Again, thank you for allowing me to wave on, and I yield the balance of my time.